Hey guys, back with another video. This video is about Denaya Young, a 29-year-old from Seattle that unalived her son, her 14-year-old son, by B-wording him with a stitcher cord / HDMI cord. In this video, I'm going to be reading the news article from the news station of her doing this and what she said and what the boyfriend said. It's an updated version because it's some things in here that I didn't know, that the young boy was like, she did this to him while he was like naked, no clothes on or anything. And also I'm going to follow up that with an interview that her brother did with someone. Me not knowing, like, this girl is like really crazy from what the brother is saying. She tried to unalive the whole family at a point when she was younger by putting bleach in their drinking products. I think one of the products was water. She done beat up the mom. She done beat up the grandma, the granddad, like just done so much stuff. Like, it's crazy. So I'm going to end right here, and then I'm going to pick back up to the news clipping. So y'all stay tuned. So it says, King County prosecutor on Friday charged the stepfather of a 14-year-old boy who was allegedly beaten to death last month by his mother, arguing the man was negligent by not intervening. Denaya Young, 29, was charged with second-degree murder earlier this month after her 14-year-old son, Jameer Robinson, died after being found in his mother's home with over 1,000 injuries. King County prosecutors originally charged Young alone, but they filed second-degree murder charges on Friday against the boy's stepfather, 27-year-old Khalil Graham. Graham and Young are not legally married, but describe themselves as husband and wife. And Graham told police officers he was raising the boy, according to the King County Prosecuting Attorney's Office. Graham is also charged with first-degree manslaughter by way of criminal mistreatment. Young entered a plea of not guilty. Robinson, found unresponsive in his mother's Beacon Hill home on January 30th, was extensively injured that the King County Medical Examiner's office determined that he suffered sudden inflammatory response syndrome, which occurs when the body attempts to send blood to so many injured parts of the body that there is not enough to sustain the heart. When asked why she beat the boy, Young reportedly told police it was because he didn't do his chores, court documents said. The medical examiner's office documented at least 1,172 marks on Robinson's body, including 74 on his face and head, majority of which apparently were inflicted during a single event. Young allegedly beat Robinson for 3 hours until he stopped breathing, according to the charging documents. Graham told police he heard the assault and was moving around the house when it took place, according to King County prosecutors. Allegedly didn't intervene, and according to a probable cause document, he told officers, "I don't want to jump in and then I'm getting jumped on." You feel me? Like, I'm not even trying to have that type of day. My best bet is to mind my own business. The boy repeatedly cried out for help, according to the probable cause document. Graham said he saw the boy unconscious during the beating, heavily bruised and bleeding. He reportedly told him to get with the program, according to court documents. Later, he found Young panicking and Robinson not breathing, and they called 911, according to the probable cause document. Graham did nothing. He said nothing. He didn't call 911. He didn't attempt to stop the merciless beating, even after he observed JR covered in blood, a prosecutor wrote. Robinson's younger siblings were also in the house during an interview. His 6-year-old sister said she saw the boy covered in blood and that his blood was splattered throughout the house. A Seattle detective wrote there was evidence Graham and Young took steps to clean up the scene before calling 911. Young and the 6-year-old told police The boy was completely naked during the assault and was bleeding all over. But when medics arrived, he was in sweatpants and there was not fresh blood on the floor. According to the detective's report, officers found bloody paper towels in the garbage and bloody shoes, a bath mat, and a towel inside a closet, the detective wrote. Robinson had lived with his mother since August. He originally had come to visit Young, but she did not return him to her sister, his legal guardian. Charges say Young pleaded not guilty to second-degree murder during her arraignment hearing Thursday. During her interview with police, she said, "This was me," and later said, "I let my anger get the best of me with the extension cord," according to the affidavit. After she was read her Miranda rights, she told officers she lost count of how many times she had hit the boy with the cord. "I should have listened because he kept telling me I'm dizzy, and I kept telling him stand up," Young told an officer, according to court documents, adding that he fell multiple times and asked her to stop. Graham's arraignment is set for February 27 in King County Superior Court. Young remains in King County Jail on $3 million bond bail. Y'all, this is sad because, first of all, from what the brother said in his interview, the baby was living with the auntie. The auntie sent him to his mom. The auntie been having custody of him since he was a baby. She didn't want to deal with him no more, saying that basically like he became a teenager and was getting hard-headed. So she sent him to this unstable mother of his, knowing she's unstable, and this happened to him. He wasn't visiting. She sent him there to live. The grandma, which is his mom's mom, got him from the auntie and brung him to to his mom. The grandma and him was living with his mom. The mom beat up his grandma, which is her mom, and she moved out, leaving him with his mom. And the reason this all happened, from what the brother is saying, is from what Denaya brother is saying, is because the son wanted to go back home to his auntie, and Denaya didn't want that to happen. She didn't want to feel like she couldn't take care of her son. So this is why this happened to Jameer. Jameer wanted to go back home to his auntie. He didn't want to stay there with Denaya, and that's why this unaliving happened to him. Not because of chores, from what the brother said, allegedly, is what happened. So let's get into this video. Well, it might not be the full video because I don't want to get flagged for using somebody else's content. So we'll see how I go about posting this. But yeah, let's get into it.
This is not a fake story. It's not made up. This is real. This needs to be talked about. These type of things need to be discussed. And I hope we can get somewhere with the brother. Now, when I talked to the two sisters and I asked them clearly, they said that when they had talked to him before, and the children, they had never heard about any signs of abuse, or it didn't seem like the children were complaining that nothing bad was happening. And that just sounds crazy to me, that if she had already been abusing her son for months, that he wouldn't say anything. But I'm going to bring in her brother, and we're going to have a discussion. What's going on, man?
What's going on, brother? How you doing?
I'm doing well. Appreciate you. Let me pull you up on the screen so we can get. All right, folks, who you're seeing on the screen, you are the maternal brother. You guys have the same mother, right? You and Denaya?
Same mom.
Same mom. And what I heard was that you guys grew up in the same house. Is that true?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. All right. So they grew up in the same house, same mom. And you wanted to clear up some things that's happened. So I wanted to just get your perspective overall. Kind of talk to me about, you know, how you found out about this, what you're feeling right now. Just kind of walk me through, you know, the timeline of events that happened for you.
So I found out about it because, well, my mom called me. She was living in Seattle too. She called me to let me know that something was wrong with Jameer. She didn't tell me what happened. She told me something was wrong, but when she got there, it was just bad. It was
I get it, brother. I know it, man. Just take your time. So you're saying when your mom your mom went over to the house
right.
because she had learned, I'm assuming your mom learned from Denaya,
From the police.
from the police.
The police contacted my mom to see if she would be able to get the rest of the kids and whatnot.
Oh, I got you. Okay. And your mom, while she was on her way over there, that's when she called you.
Yeah.
Okay. How close were you and Denaya?
It was never really like a brother sister thing. Um we were close though. Of course, we grew up in the same house. So we were close, but you know how regular brother sister rivalry,
Uh-huh.
stuff like that. It just was a little bit more intense. It wasn't. I never really felt like the love of a sister from her. Like she's my big sister.
You know, it seemed like because the other two sisters, I know they got different fathers. Um, they told me it seemed like that she's always kind of been kind of crazy from a child. Is that true?
That's a fact. That's a fact. She always.
They said something about she tried to put bleach in some ice or something and poison the family.
Yeah. I had been like maybe like 8. She she put like bleach in like the ice maker. It's
And she was
crazy.
trying to get everybody to get
Yeah.
some ice in a drink, the whole family.
Yeah. She just kept asking me and my grandmother, because that's who we was living with at the time. She just kept asking us like, "Y'all want something to drink? Y'all want something to drink?" I'm I'm asking my grandmother, I'm like, "Why she keep asking if we thirsty?" And my grandmother, she was just like, "Let me go check and see, like go check and look at some things real quick." So she went to the refrigerator. The bleach was like like the refrigerator where the ice maker was at, and it was like the top was open, and then she smelled it. And after that, that's when we knew. That's when we knew.
Wow, that's unbelievable. So I mean, and at that time, wait, how old are you compared to her?
I'm 27. She's what, 29?
Okay, so you a couple years younger.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and did you know at that time? You said you were around 8. Did you know like what she was trying to do? Wow.
Daenerys been, if as far as like, I know my sister, so she always she always had like mental health problems, like since
She
we
always
was
had
young.
mental health problems.
Always, always.
Always kind of unstable and
That's an understatement, but she was
okay, brother said that's an understatement. Unstable is an understatement. All right. So let me ask you this because I know she had the 4 children. Now she only has 3 left living. But
um,
has she ever shown signs to you that she was an abusive type of mom though? Do you ever remember like
I can
incidents
say,
or stories?
okay, this is what I can say. And this is part of clearing this up. She she would never be really abusive to her other kids that wasn't like by Khalil. Like the kids that she got with Khalil, she was cool with them. Like she wouldn't beat them or none of
Wait,
that.
she have more than one child outside of Khalil?
No, no. She had 3 kids from Khalil,
Okay.
and my nephew was from somebody else.
Okay, so she was always good to the kids by Khalil.
Yeah.
But she was never good because okay, so that brings me to trying to get an understanding. What happened with the fact that she lost custody or she no longer had custody of Jameer,
Yeah,
her son?
all right, yeah. So Denaya, being that she was so young when she had him, but even
But she
prior
was
to
like
her,
what, like 15, 16 years old?
like 14, 15, something like
14,
that.
15. Okay, go ahead.
Mhm. I know for sure she was 14 while she was pregnant. She probably was 15, or either was about to turn 15 when she had him.
Was the dad around the same age? Jameer's dad?
No,
He was a grown man?
yeah, it was like 19.
Wow.
It was like 19, 18, something like that.
All right. That's a whole nother story. Go ahead, brother.
Yeah, yeah. So how he ended up even going with my aunt. Danae was basically, and like I want to say she just came home from like a juvenile facility. It was either that or she was in like a group home or something like that. But I know she belonged to the state when she had the baby. Like I know that. But my aunt stepped in. My aunt was like, she was going to basically raise them because she couldn't have. My aunt couldn't have kids at all.
Was
She was
she
going to
in
raise a
a
foster mom.
was she a part of the group home when she got pregnant too?
No,
Okay, she went after.
there was some other stuff that happened, like as far as within the house, like between me, her, and my grandmother. You know, yeah, there was some other stuff that
Who
happened within
raised
that too.
y'all in the house? Who raised y'all in the house?
My grandmother and my grandfather.
Okay,
My
tell
mother,
me the
my
story
grandmother.
about where you guys' mom and dad were.
Mm. My mom.
And I know you and Danae have different fathers, so
Oh yeah, for sure. Oh yeah, yeah for sure. But my mom was always in the picture, but she basically let my grandmother take care of us because she couldn't provide a certain lifestyle that she couldn't provide for us that how she wanted to. And my grandmother, she had money and whatnot, so
okay,
that's
so
how it
your
worked out.
mom, okay, so your mom was in poverty. She couldn't get how many total kids does your mom have?
It's me and Danielle.
Oh, really?
My fault.
No worries. Okay, so you were saying that your mother wasn't in the picture because she was struggling with money,
Hmm.
and then so she kind of what just gave you guys over to her parents, to your grandparents.
Now she didn't really give us. My grandmother basically gave her an ultimatum. She was like, if you don't step it up, she gonna come get us.
Okay,
But
okay.
my
So
mother
your
was like,
grandmother
a
was
good
she?
provider.
Okay, your grandmother wanted to make sure you guys were taken care of and straight. Okay, I get that.
Absolutely,
Okay,
absolutely.
all right. So you and Danae growing up together. Your mother only has those you and her.
Hmm.
But then Danae's father has a bunch of other children, according to the other girls. He has a bunch of other. Is that true? Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. He has a bunch of other children. And then what about uh, Jameer's father? Do you know much about him?
Yeah.
Okay. What is he about? Because I heard that he wasn't that much involved in the picture, or what's going on with his story.
Well, it's not
Because
that
why?
he wasn't.
Because why didn't my in other words, why didn't he have custody of his son? Why is the custody with the aunt?
It's common sense, right? Why did he have to go to see it? Let's jump to that. Let's jump to that. So number one, I've been seeing a whole lot of stuff saying, like, especially like the news article, and it was like my aunt sent him out there to visit. No, Jameer was kicked out of the house. My aunt kicked Jameer
Oh,
out. Yeah, my aunt kicked Jameer out of the house because he was becoming a teenager. You
he
know,
was becoming problematic.
right,
Okay.
right. She kicked him out of the house. I asked his father to go get him. His father didn't say anything. So my mother went to go get him. See what I'm saying? My mother went to go get him. This is how he ended up in Seattle. My mother went to go get him.
From what was it, North Carolina?
No, my mother was in South Carolina.
No, where was Jameer at?
Jameer was in South Carolina.
Okay, South Carolina. So they were in South Carolina. Your mother went to go get Jameer and then flew him up there or drove him up there?
No, they rode on a bus. They rode on a bus with
Man,
my
that's a
aunt.
long bus ride.
Right, right. Which my aunt dropped both of them off. He stayed Jameer last night and something. He stayed with me, and I told him about his mom. I said, "You sure you want to go out there?" He just said he wanted to live with his mom. He never lived with his mom like that.
Okay, so he had the option. He could have stayed with your mom.
No,
So what
and
okay,
it wasn't that.
walk
See,
me
my
back.
mom,
What
my
were
mom
his
said
options?
his options were he didn't really have anything like that. I tried to get him to stay with me. He didn't want to stay with me. He just wanted his mother. He could have stayed. He could have stayed with us, but he didn't want to stay with me. He didn't want to stay with me. He always wanted his mother since he was little. He always wanted to stay with his mom. He never got
Mm.
that love from his mom. His dad was active in the picture, but his dad had other kids too.
But his dad like would see him or
Yeah, he was him. He was
okay.
him. He was him. But it wouldn't be like for long periods of time. If anything, I think that's his dad's sister. Yeah, his dad's sister, she was more active than he was.
So it's making sense to me now because I was like, it's not making. At first, it wasn't making sense. I was like, if the aunt just sent them down to visit, first of all, school
Yeah,
was starting.
that's what I'm saying. Does that make any sense?
It made no sense at first because I was like, school was starting. Why would she send him down just to visit? He's supposed to be in school.
Exactly.
That doesn't make sense. And then she never followed back up to try to bring him back. Like that doesn't make sense to me.
Exactly. Like that's what I'm saying. People have to use common sense. Like when my sisters came on here, I told them I reached out to them instantly because I watched this stuff. I watched it and I was like, this isn't right. That's not facts. This isn't facts. That's why I said I had to clear this up. Now it's all making sense because wouldn't that's his guardian. Wouldn't she call the police if it was such a problem and he was kidnapped and never gave him back?
Yeah, she would have called the authorities.
People not listening. It's not people don't know how to use common sense. That's
Yeah,
what makes me mad. That's what really makes me mad.
yeah, that's very true. All right, so after all this happened, he gets up there to the Seattle area. He's with his mom.
Hmm.
He goes around August, right?
Yeah, my mom. Back up. My mom moved to Seattle with him.
Oh, your mom moved too.
Yeah, to Seattle with him to
Were they
make sure
all?
everything
Was
was
she
good.
staying with Denaya too?
Yep. Yep.
Where was she at when all this happened?
My mother.
Yeah,
I'm glad you asked that. My mother. My mother had to move out. You want to take a wild guess why my mother had to move out?
Denaya threatened her.
Danae would put her hands on my mother, beat my mother, beat my
She
mom.
was just beating up everybody or threatening everybody. Because I had Kia on here, the other sister, and she was talking about how she had to put Denaya out because of stuff that happened with her. Had to get a restraining order.
And Danae's crazy. Danae's crazy. Danae's
She just likes to fight. And then she told me about she was going on these dates from online or whatever, meeting dudes, and dudes were calling the police on her.
yeah, yeah,
This is
yeah.
wild. This is
It
wild,
is.
folks.
It is.
All right, so
Yeah,
man,
it's a lot.
this is crazy. This is
It's a
crazy.
lot.
All right, yeah, it is a lot. All right, so you mean to tell me mom had to move out because Denaya was putting her hands on her, but your mom was still in the Seattle area?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Police ended up calling her that day and saying that, to come and get the other kids, basically.
Yep.
How did everybody react? You, your mom, grandparent, the aunt. Do you know how the different individuals react to like knowing what happened?
Do I know how my mom reacted?
Yeah, and I'm saying like your just like your family in general. Just how did everybody handle it?
Devastated, devastated. I re- I remember I remember when Jameer was 7 days old. That was like before I had my own kids. That was like my first child.
Wow,
You know,
devastation.
like I said, we didn't really have money like that. I remember we stayed in like a real rural area in South Carolina. I had to walk like 3 miles to the nearest like store to get him Pampers, and that's how I knew he needed me. That's how I knew he needed me.
Folks, folks, if you are just joining and tuning in and don't know what's going on, I am interviewing the brother of Denaya Young. She is the Seattle mother that's accused of, and she is in custody now of taking the life of her 14-year-old son because of some chores. And I'm gonna get into that with you right. I'm gonna get into that with you right now. But this is what's been put out right by the news and the police. Allegedly, is over chores. He didn't want to do his chores. She gets an extension cord and just starts going to town on him, and he's nude, fully nude, according to what I just read. I read it to y'all at the start of the show, the news article. He's fully nude. She's just going in on him for hours, beating him with this extension cord. He dies, and she's charged. Her boyfriend, who she also has children with, his name is Khalil Graham. He initially was not charged, but he was there the whole time when this was happening, hearing all of this happen, refusing to get involved. He said he didn't want to get involved because he didn't want to get jumped on by Denaya. So he just got charged. They just charged him. So he's in jail now too. All right, brother. Let's get into, was this really over some chores?
No, no.
Okay. Well, then I need to know, what exactly was this all about?
Jameer, I can't. Jameer wanted to come back home.
We want to come back to South Carolina.
He wanted to come back to South Carolina, but rather
How
than
do you know that? How do you know that?
I talked to Khalil. No,
Okay, he wanted to come back home. He didn't want to be up there with his mother anymore.
no.
Did they get into an argument over that?
So Denaya had some really, she hold basically her and my aunt don't get along, right? So rather than give her the satisfaction of her failing, like being a mom, like sending him back to South Carolina.
This was, you mean to tell me this was because she didn't want to basically, this is like an ego trip. She's like, "Oh, I don't want to give her the satisfaction knowing that he's going back to South Carolina, so I'm just going to keep him here."
Um, yeah, I wouldn't say that she wanted to go as far as like to beat him to death.
Was she trying to beat him into like
Like
submitting, into
basically, yeah,
like,
like
you're
yeah,
going to
like
stay
yeah,
here?
you gonna stay, yeah, basically like that, basically like that. You know, but that whole chores, that ain't it. No, that's not it. That's part of it. That's part of it, but that ain't it. That's not it.
I can only imagine. And obviously I'm a black man, so I know how this stuff goes in the black community.
Mm-hmm.
And I know about these types of arguments and stuff that will happen. And not to say it doesn't happen in other communities, but I'm just specifically talking about the black community, right? How
Mm-hmm.
there's tension in the home a lot of times, especially with the kids and their parents. A lot of times, though, it will be with the mother and daughter. Right? That's why this is shocking that she took the life of a teenage son. And I had people that, brothers that said, they're shocked that he wasn't able to fight her back with
He's not
being
that type of
14
kid.
years old.
Not that type of kid.
Really?
Not that type of kid. Definitely not that type of kid.
So he would have
talk to
just
him.
complied. He would have just complied to whatever.
He wasn't raised like that. Jameer is one of them Southern kids. He still says yes sir, no ma'am, yes ma'am. Like very well mannered kid,
Wow.
very well mannered kid, smart, very smart. All he wanted to do was play Roblox. That's all he wanted to do is play
And he
Roblox
just wanted to be out there and get some love from his mom.
from his mom. That's all he wanted. That's all he ever wanted. That's all he ever wanted in his life. His mom. I asked him, I was like, you want to stay with me? He's like, no, I want to go with my mom, with my other siblings. I said, okay. His last night or something, he stayed here. He stayed here. And I walked him around. And I told him how his mom is.
What did you tell him? What did you tell him?
That his mom was fucking crazy. I told him.
How did he respond to that when you talked to him about his mom?
As he should. As he should. Like, that's my mom. That's my mom. I understand. But I got to see. I'm like, all right.
Hmm.
That's all he ever wanted. All he ever wanted was his mom love. That's it. That's it.
Right.
That's all he ever wanted.
Never was able to get that. Never was able to get the love from his mother. How did the father take this? Does anybody talk to the father in your family to know what's going on? Amir's father?
I mean, obviously, he ain't doing too good. He devastated.
I know he
That
had
was his
other
first
kids,
child.
but you said he
That's his
still
first child. That was his first
right.
child.
Okay, that was his first child, but like I know you said he had other kids, but he still was in contact and regularly was seeing Jameer. Sounds like
No, I didn't say regularly.
oh, it wasn't regular. Okay,
It was like sporadically.
it
Like
was like
I
off and on, just kind of sporadic. Okay, I got you.
yeah, yeah. I have to hit him up. And like, when the last time you seen him? Like, come on, like meet me over there. We're gonna do it.
Right.
Yep.
Okay. All right. So, um, did did he have you said he had some other kids? Did his other kids live with him?
I can't really speak on that.
Okay,
I
because
can't. I can't.
I'm just curious if they had a relationship with Jameer or not. Like if
You talking
he
about
had.
his other kids for sure? Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, so they had a relationship too. All right, so it wasn't totally a closed off situation.
No.
Have y'all talked to Denaya? Have you talked to Denaya?
What I got? What I got to say to him?
That's my question. That's my question. Like, have you talked to her? Do you want to talk to her?
No. What is that to say? Because if I say something to her, I'm probably gonna go to jail.
When's the last time you did talk to her, though?
The last time I talked to Ned was when this how quick tempered she is. We had a debate on I was talking to her about the Donald Trump and Kamala Harris stuff, and I was just joking with her. I was like, yeah, I was like, I'm not gonna vote for somebody that said they watch collard greens in the tub or something like that. And she flipped. She was like, don't fucking call me anymore. Don't do anything. You're an idiot or whatever. And I was like, all right, cool. And that was the last time I talked to her. The last text she sent me though was happy birthday, and I left her on red.
Okay, so that happened before the election. So we're talking what, probably October?
Yeah, something like that. Something like that. The last thing she texted me was happy birthday. That was December 4th. So yeah.
Were you? I mean, obviously, I know you said you were just completely devastated, and man, you know, I feel so bad for you and your family. My condolences for sure to you and the family. This is a tough. I couldn't imagine being in your shoes, right? But
It don't even feel real sometimes, man.
right, right. Exactly. Just reading, and I'm not part of the family, but reading the news story sometimes, and it's like, what?
It's insane.
And unfortunately, brother, one of the main reasons I'm covering stories like this is because it's not to say that the men don't do anything. We know men, but plenty of men get tons of press, tons of negativity about the stuff that they do in the community, the violence, the danger. And there's not enough that goes on that speaks about what's going on with these mothers.
Mm-hmm.
The tragedies that's happening with mothers who are expected to be the nurturing providers. They provide the nurture and the love in the community for their children. Should have never had children.
No.
He should have never had children, because with the amount of anger that she has inside of her, the temper, the violence that she commits, that I've heard now from you and the two others, the other two sisters.
Can we clear it up right quick though?
Okay.
I see a lot of people saying that Denaya was abused. She never was abused. She never was abused. I never.
She was never physically. What?
Abuser.
I'm sorry.
Denaya was the abuser. Denaya used to hit me. She used to hit me. She used to hit my grandmother. She used to hit my grandfather. Everyone that tried to love her, she hurts.
Do you know if there was ever any sexual abuse?
None of that.
None of that either. Wow.
None of that. None of that. I didn't get beatings by my grandmother, my grandfather, or anybody coming up. My mother hit me one time in my life. One time. But they don't believe in that. You just hitting somebody, that's not gonna get it. You're gonna hit me and I'm gonna go do the same thing.
Do you know much or anything about her father?
Yeah, not really, no. I know my mother always told me he was insane. Man.
So that's probably where it comes from.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. We got some crazy people on like my mom's side of the family too, but not like that. Not like this. No.
Denaya is the craziest.
Mm-hmm. For sure. And I think Kia said that my aunt didn't know Denaya was crazy. My aunt knew Denaya was crazy. She knew. She knew. But it's not like
I just don't see this is where I have a hard thing too. Like, what the hell is your aunt feeling knowing that she knows Denaya was crazy and now this didn't happen, and she you know what I mean? Like, whatever was going on with her and Jameer growing up, because you're telling me he's still very respectful. He still says yes sir, no sir, yes ma'am.
Mm-hmm.
How in the hell do you want to get him out of the house? And you don't want it, like, no, you're not going to live with your crazy ass mama.
No, she didn't care about that. She didn't care about that. It was like Jameer was being there so long, she wouldn't let him do like social stuff as like a teenager. Like, he want to go out with friends and stuff. She just wants him to stay. Like, my aunt just wants him to stay in the house. He doesn't want to do that. He wanted to be like, do what like a teenager does, like go to the movies with your girl, stuff like that. She wouldn't let him do that. She wouldn't let him go to the barbershop. She would cut his hair. He was tired of that. Rightfully so. He
Very
was tired of it.
controlling, a very controlling
Yeah.
household.
Right. And she's not a barber, so you can imagine what his lawn was looking like. He was ready to go.
Was there a male figure in the home with their aunt, her
No,
husband?
no, my aunt was divorced, but she had like a special friend that Jameer knew all his life.
But it was just mainly your aunt and Jameer that lived in the house?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
Hmm. This is, folks, this is wild to me on all sides. And that's why I said, like, I had questions for, I'm glad you came on because I had questions about a lot of this stuff because it didn't add up. And the fact that I just still can't believe that you have been, how long was she taking care of Jameer, your aunt?
Since he was like a week old. Like a week old.
She been in his life all that time and then barely gonna say, you know, and then gonna say, okay, you go ahead and go live with your mom or whatever, knowing she knows that the mama is crazy.
Yeah, but
She knows what the mother is violent.
Yeah, but nobody ever knew that Denaya was capable of doing something like that to her own child. We knew she was capable of doing that to somebody else.
But she ain't really been around her son like that either.
No, but she was like when she was living in South Carolina, she would get him every now and then, like sporadically too, like sometimes on the weekends, sometimes not. Or sometimes she would send his siblings over to my other aunt, you know, to be with Jameer. She would do that too. As far as like a long stay, no, that ain't happening. And
Do you think,
it was because Yvonne wasn't letting that happen. That's my aunt name. She was not letting that happen.
as far as Jameer staying for a long time with his
Yeah,
mom?
no, she's not letting that happen. And it wasn't because she was beating him up or nothing like that. She was like that for everybody.
But why now though? Why would she let him go now? That's what I was trying to figure out before all
Because
this happened.
he was a teenager and he was saying basically like, I'm tired of this in the house shit. I want to go outside. She used to have him around nothing but old people all the time. That's what I'm
Yeah,
saying. He has an old soul. Jameer really had an old soul.
right. No, it makes sense. It makes a lot of sense. Um, I'm just curious though, with all this that's happened,
Mm-hmm.
how do you feel about Khalil, his role? Are you mad, angered?
I told him to his face he a coward.
Because he didn't do nothing.
He's a coward. He's a coward. I told him that. But I'm not gonna. I feel some type of way because I introduced Khalil to the name.
Really?
Yeah, Khalil is my childhood friend too.
They were all in South Carolina?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So there you have it. The bitch been crazy. Excuse my language, but yeah, she's been crazy. Y'all like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification button. Um, I still have super chats, super stickers available. I need y'all to start getting these memberships. Y'all keep telling me how y'all like my page and my content and all that. I need to start seeing my work being appreciated, which y'all have been appreciating it by liking and leaving great comments. But come on, I need y'all on my team. I need good people such as yourselves because I have a good group of people. I've been paying attention to you guys and everything. So y'all hit that membership button. Grab a membership. On another note, let me get my little promo out. If you guys looking for puppies, these are tricolored ABKC registered puppies for sale. The owner information is listed at the bottom of the flyer. Again, they come with their shots and dewormed, their first shots, and they are dewormed. Hit 'em up. Bye.